Okay, now we're going to start coloring our finish. We're going to try to make this look like leather. And we're going to use our mud pie, which is our glazing color. And the reason we call this glazing color is it's a stain with a glaze already built into it. Makes it a little easier to manipulate and stay translucent. It's a bit transparent, but you can still get good heavy coverage. So you'll see what I mean when we get started here. You just apply it with a brush, kind of heavy in the center here. And you can see we put it on pretty generous because we want it to go down into those cracks and crevices. Make sure all your little cracks and crevices have the glaze down in them. They're harder to go back later and do than if you just try to get it on there now. I want to leave this glaze pretty soupy because we're going to use this little old-fashioned technique to make this look like old leather. When you see me going in circles, it's because I see a little bit of white coming through in one of the cracks, and I want to be sure the glaze gets down in that. So we got this pretty much covered. Going back again to make sure it's all wet everywhere. Then we're going to take this plastic bag, I'm going to make some wrinkles. And then you take your wet bag and then you go back over it, kind of soften some of those lines, maybe fill in some of the bare spots. I use the part where the glaze is on the plastic bag. And that's pretty much done. Then I go back with a soft cloth, kind of dab some of the excess off. And then I'm going to take my nice big fluffy brush that I had earlier, and I'm just going to go around the edge. Sometimes I tape off the two sections and work on them separately because you have a little more control. And you're not in such a hurry to get it done before it dries on you. So I feel like I got my stain pretty well even all the way around. I'm going to come back with this cloth and I'm going to make a bit of a, what they call a pounce. I'm going to make a nice flat surface. And I'm just going to go across the top edges of my texture, so the stain stays down in the crevices, but this accents the raised relief without wiping it all off. You can use a brush, but the problem with the brush is it gets down in the low-lying areas and takes it off there too. Depending on how picky I feel that day, I may take a little bit of water. I had a water bottle. Thank you. And I'll spray it on my cloth just a little bit. Just to take that back a little further. I like it when you can see the texture from a distance. You don't have to get up close to it to see it. I see a bare spot I want to work on a little bit. Okay, basically we're done. It's dry. Now we're going to add a coat of Poly-Acrylic. This is our wood icing Poly-Acrylic in satin. This comes in dull, satin, and gloss. It's water soluble, water cleanup, doesn't yellow. When I'm doing something that I want to be sure it stays durable, I do at least 2 to 3 coats. And it dries really fast. So you can apply 1 coat, come back and do another coat in about 15-20 minutes. It levels out really nice. You don't have to be as careful with the brush strokes when you're doing texture. It's kind of forgiving in that way. But I don't like to see it puddled up, because when it puddles up, then it dries that way. Alright, there you have it. It's all complete. This would make a great finish for a tabletop. You could take some very boring cabinets and do this finish. Looks like carved wood around the edges and then an inlaid leather in the inside of it. You can see the nice cracks that the glaze has fallen down into to accent those. This is just a good basic finish that you can put just about anywhere. I enjoyed the process. I hope you did too.